Is the Smith machine squat for sissies? Do real men use barbells and dumbbells, or is the Smith machine just for girls doing little split squats, hundreds of lunges? I think there's a time and place for everything. Watch this video. Boom! Boom! What's up, everyone? Marc, Lobliner, tigerfitness.com. Let's talk about the Smith machine. Before I get into the Smith machine, I want you to look at this shirt. All kinds of swag at tigerfitness.com. Nobody cares. Work harder. Click on the link down below. All right, guys, so check it out. Is the Smith machine superior to free weights? Well, yes and no. Let me explain. There's a time and place for everything, and the Smith machine does have its place. While I almost never use the Smith machine myself, I can argue that it does have a place in a training program, whatever it is. But before I make an argument for the Smith machine and tell you when and where it's best used, let's look at the actual science. And I'm going to list all these references down below. This is a science-based video that hopefully you can get a takeaway to make your programs even better. Okay, in a 2010 study titled A Comparison of Muscle Activation Between a Smith Machine and a Free Weight Bench Press, study authors concluded that the result of this study suggests that strength coaches should consider choosing the Free Weight Bench Press over the Smith Machine Bench Press because of its potential for greater upper body muscular development. So the study had 2 testing sessions, each of which entailed either all free weight or all Smith Machine testing. In each testing session, each participant's 1RM was established, followed by 2 repetitions at 70% of the 1RM, that's 1 rep max, and 2 repetitions of 90% of the 1 rep max. Results indicated greater activation of the medial deltoid on the free weight bench press than on the Smith machine bench press. Also, there was greater muscle activation at the 90% 1 rep max load than at the 70% 1 rep max load. So obviously the more weight, the more muscle recruitment. So basically in summation, for the bench press, the free weight version simply placed more load on the medial deltoid and had greater overall muscle activation. That means that basically you're working more stuff. You have to stabilize, the delts have to, see if you're pushing a bench press, it's just here, right? There's some going on here, but it's just here. If you have to balance on a barbell, you have to keep it from going here, 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 here. So you're balancing, you're keeping all that activated, so it's gonna have more muscle activation. But they both still activated muscle. And with the Smith machine, I would wager that if training alone, it's much safer. And if you want to go beyond failure, like Dorian Yates style, like what I do a lot of the time, but lucky I usually have a good spotter with me, the Smith machine would be a superior option. Although I can also argue that the fixed plane isn't advantageous and it's even more dangerous because you're in here, you can't move. So if your body wants to naturally go up here, it's going to be locked in, which could theoretically increase the injury risk. So basically you say tomato, I say tomato, right? Good of one, bad of the other, bad of one, good of the other. But that's one lift. Let's talk about other lifts like the squat. Before I get into that, we talk about my pre-workout of choice, MTS Nutrition Sniper. It is fully loaded. Intense pre-workout focus, full dose of L-citrulline, creatine monohydrate, beta-alanine, glycersized glycerol, taurine, betaine anhydrous, guarana seed as the caffeine source. We also have caffeine from green coffee bean, L-theanine, which takes off the nervous system edge and the jitters from the caffeine, and Panax ginseng. It is a fully loaded pre-workout. You should try it. It's amazing. Available at Tiger Fitness. I'll link it down below. I'll usually drink this pre-workout during the day. We also sell this Tiger Fitness Ghost. I love these. Man, in these hats. Basically, if you got to buy stuff, whether it's MTS Nutrition or any other brand, we carry hundreds of brands. Go to tigerfitness.com. Let's get back to the studies, okay? So let's see what one of the foremost experts on hypertrophy, Brad Schoenfeld, says. Brad Schoenfeld, he's one of the guys. He is one of the guys for hypertrophy, for movement, for strength. So I looked through his Instagram because I want to know what he said. I found it. I found a post. This was on Smith machine versus free weight. Quote, Machines have a particular benefit for maximizing muscular development as they allow better targeting of individual muscles or even portions of a given muscle. Like I said, you can target your pec more because you don't need to balance the weight. It's going straight on the pec. The bar doesn't move this way or that way. It just goes this way. So basically with Brad Schoenfeld, this is a dude, okay? He's the dude who does the studies, the science, not the science, but the science. You know about the science. You can't question the science or else you love Russia. You have to go with the science. Follow me here, guys. I confused myself. So this is his opinion. This is the opinion of the guy who does the studies, and that's his summation of it. So even Brad Schoenfeld's like, yeah, the Smith machine has a place. So let's talk about squats, okay? We're going to focus on 2 lifts here and then talk about some more later. So what does the data have to say? Stabilizing muscle activation, of course, we'll link this data down below, is on average 43% lower on a Smith machine compared to a free weight squat. Also, there is an article version of this. Click on that. It'll have this in, writing, and also it'll have all the data. Snap, right? Like, oh no, 43%. But let's say I want to target quads. Smith machine squats can do that because you can put your leg position almost like a leg extension or a sissy squat, so you can target that quad more. But we'll talk about where that's disadvantageous and how to mediate that or mitigate that later. Okay, so as for overall strength, Smith machine does increase strength. It does make you stronger. I'm going to link a study that backs this up too. Smith machine does increase your strength. So here are my recommendations on how and when to use the Smith machine. Okay, for athletes, just ditch the Smith machine. Football players, baseball players, rugby players, soccer players, there's very little transfer to the sport. For bodybuilders looking to isolate a given muscle, work it into your overload, right? And go past failure to really target that muscle, like your quads on a squat, like your traps, things like that. Make sure if you do Smith machine squats, you also add in Romanian deadlifts and other hamstring movements, because hamstring recruitment is very minimal in a Smith machine squat versus a barbell squat. So your hamstrings are essentially inactive, whereas on a full squat, again, you have to stabilize so you don't fall and snap your ish up. So if you're gonna do Smith machine squats, make sure you mitigate the lack of hamstring activity with hamstring specific movements. Here's where I think the Smith machine offers its greatest benefit. Use it for non-squat and non-squat and non-bench press exercises, like single arm row. Okay, you can use that, pull it up, it's awesome. Shrugs, split squats, put your foot on a bench, you're not gonna fall down. You can overload and go beyond failure or to failure. These are all able to be done safely to truly target the intended muscle. Before you become militant, pro Smith machine, anti-Smith machine, pro bench press, anti-bench press, review the science. So much science on this from guys like Brad and all these guys doing this strength training data, right? So review the science, and most of all, try the training modality. Try it. Instead of just ishing all over the Smith machine, try it. Try it. See if you like it. Ignorance and tribalism, they don't only exist in politics. Training and nutrition are just as bad. People like to belong to a camp, the keto camp, the carnivore camp, the vegan camp, the this camp, that camp, the macro camp, the flexible camp. Just do what works for you and what you feel the data best represents. So Smith machine or not, get your damn squats done. Get your workout in. Find what works best for you. Okay, guys? Thanks so much for watching. I'm Marc Lobliner. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, click on the notification bell, and of course, remember, that's not a game.
The best booster isn't a shot. It's your natural immune system. Every time we step out into the world, we are attacked by viruses that do their best to break down our defenses. Vita helps solve this problem. Vita contains proven antiviral replication supplements and Imulina to ensure that your body is primed to defend itself against foreign invaders. Don't go another day unprotected. Get your Vita today.